Hello dear students, this is Professor Amma Bakudi. So this is the sixth session on hydrology and irrigation module 2, that is hydrological losses. So in the previous sessions we have completed with the evaporation process, and in the last class we were discussing about the evapotranspiration process. So in this evapotranspiration we have already checked out with respect to what is evapotranspiration, what are the factors affecting evapotranspiration, as well as we have studied few of the terminologies that we use to understand this evapotranspiration in much better way and apply it to the practical world. Okay, so now we'll continue with the evapotranspiration process with a few more nomenclatures as well as the measurement of evapotranspiration in this session. So in this slide, basically we are going to check out a bit of briefing from the previous session. So previously we have seen what is actual evapotranspiration, what is potential evapotranspiration, as well as we have checked out what is field capacity. Okay, so basically with respect to this, if I just read it out, if the water supply to the plant is adequate, soil moisture will be at its field capacity, and hence your AET will be is equals to PET. Okay, so what do you mean by this? Already, as previously I have explained, so if you have this soil mass, yeah, imagine this as the water in that soil mass. If it is completely saturated, and whenever I say field capacity, right, so some amount of water has actually gone through the infiltration. Okay, so for the sake of explanation, for sake of simplicity, I am making this 100% saturated. Okay, so whenever I say the things will be at its field capacity, right, so this field capacity, whenever the term is coming out, so this field capacity does not mean 100% water, no. Okay, so field capacity is nothing but the amount of water that the soil can withhold within itself against the force of gravity. Okay, so for various soils, this field capacity might be what, 80%, 85%, 90%, so and so forth. That moisture content might be varying. Okay, just for the sake of simplicity, I am putting all that blue colored one to show it as a completely saturated, or it is at its field capacity, just for the sake of explanation. Okay, with this in mind, what they say is whenever this is completely saturated, at that point of time your AET is equals to what, PET, that is actual evapotranspiration will be is equals to potential evapotranspiration which is there. Okay, similarly, if the water supply is less than PET, okay, if the water supply is less than PET, then the soil dries out and AET will be less than PET. So that, what do I mean by that? Imagine this, uh, if the moisture content is not 100%, okay, so it is varying from some random value. Right now if you check out, I have made it around some 75%. Okay, so if the soil is 75% saturated, then what will happen, still it has a capacity to take out more water. Okay, at this point of time, whatever the evapotranspiration is going to occur from this, we call it as AET. Okay, and this AET will obviously be less than PET. So as I have explained in the previous slide, 0 to 99%, at that point of time, whatever the evapotranspiration that is going to occur, we call it as AET, actual evapotranspiration. So the moisture content, even if it is varying from 0 to 99%, sorry, it will be usually 1 to 99%. Okay, so 1 to 99% if it is there, then we call it as actual evapotranspiration. Only if the soil is at its field capacity, at that point of time you are going to call that as potential evapotranspiration. So what it sentence try to tell you is, if the moisture content of the soil is not at its field capacity, if it is less than the field capacity, so less than the field capacity indicates what, it is from 0 to 1 to 99%. It is less means less by 1%, 2%, 10%, 15%, 20, 30, 50. So irrespective of that, so if the soil is not at its field capacity, and at that point of time whatever the evapotranspiration that occurs, we call that as actual evapotranspiration, and it will obviously be less than the potential evapotranspiration. Now Third sentence is at permanent wilting point, even that we have seen in the previous class, at permanent wilting point, your AET will be is equals to 0. Your actual evapotranspiration will be 0. The reason being what? At permanent wilting point, your plants are going to die off. Okay, they are not going to extract any water, or they are not going to generate any food, or they are not going to grow anything, right? So at that point of time, there is no way of transpiration to occur from these kind of plants. Okay, so that is why we say actual evapotranspiration from the plants at the moisture content of permanent wilting point will be 0. So that is what is being indicated over here. Okay, so these are the bit of terminologies and what they mean with respect to evapotranspiration process. Okay. Now the next aspect of this is measurement of evapotranspiration. Okay, so the first method that we are going to study is with respect to the lysimeter method. Okay, so first I'll read it out and then I'll explain you what this lysimeter method is. Okay, so lysimeter is a small tank containing soil in which the plants are grown. Lysimeter is a small tank containing soil in which the plants are grown. It is nothing but a tank with soil in which the plants will be grown. Okay, it is generally cylindrical tank about 60 to 90 centimeter in diameter and 180 centimeter deep. So the diameter of that will be 60 to 90 centimeters and the depth of that will be 180 centimeters. Okay, this tank is buried in ground such that its top is made like a surrounding ground surface. So you can check out in this figure. So this will be dug up inside the soil. Okay, and the soil layer or else soil level in this particular container will be made sure that it is almost nearer to the ground level or the neighboring soil level which is going to be there. Okay, so that is what is meant by this. Water is applied to the lysimeter for satisfactory growth of plant. Percolated water excess to the plant use is collected in a pit and evapotranspiration is obtained. So what do I meant by this is, here we have some arrangements that can be made. So whatever the water you are going to add it from the top for the growth of plants, okay, to this soil, whatever the water you are going to add it over here, what will happen, initially again the soil will get saturated, that is the particles will get, soil particles will absorb the moisture, and even then the air voids which are present in the soil will be filled up with water particles. Now the excess water beyond this particular limit will be again coming down because of that gravity as infiltration, and that water can be basically what collected at any one point. So here they have not shown that, but you can check out at any one of the ends at the bottom here you can take an outlet, and here you can actually collect the amount of water that has actually come out. So whatever this water that has come out is nothing but is what it is indicating the excess water, that is because of the gravity what the water is getting infiltrated, so that quantum of water will be collected at the bottom. Okay, so now with respect to this, what they say is, I'll repeat the last sentence once again. Water is applied to the lysimeter for the satisfactory growth of plant. That is, here you are going to apply the water so that the plant growth is optimum. Okay, so this particular dosage will be based on the experience. It is not based on any of the measurements, but it is based on the experience that for what plant and what kind of soil, how much quantum of water needs to be added. Okay, so that will be added, and you need to imagine that how, or else you need to collect the data that how much quantum of water is being added over here. Okay, just for sake of explanation how this lysimeter works out, I'll just try to give you this or else there is a formula for this uh, computation of evapotranspiration. So what is that? P plus W. So P is nothing but what? Precipitation. W is the amount of water applied. So here imagine this P is 0. So for our case there is no precipitation. Okay. So this is 0. So water applied over here is, let us say that I have applied 100 liters of water. Okay. I have applied 100 liters of water. So this is going to become what? Your left hand side. Will be is equals to what? O. O is what? Quantity of water drained out. So whatever the water is coming out of this is nothing but quantity of water drained out. Imagine over here I'll say that 10 liters of water has drained out. Okay, so just for the sake of explanation, right? So next we have ET, that is evapotranspiration. That is what we need to measure. So this will be an unknown for us. Okay, this is an unknown for us. This is what we need to find out. Now next is delta S. Delta S is nothing but what? Change in the soil moisture storage. So change in the soil moisture storage what? So whenever we start this study, okay, so we usually check the initial moisture content of the soil. Okay, so imagine that if the initial moisture content of the soil is, let us say, some 35%. Yeah, so after the this particular experimentation which has been done, so imagine the what I can say, the amount of moisture content of the soil is 75%. So at that point of time your delta S value will be how much? It is plus 40%. Yeah, so it will be plus 40%, which is going to be there. So for this case it is going to be what? 40%. So this percentage you can convert that into liter with the help of bit of calculation. Okay, so in this what your only unknown is what? ET, whereas the remaining parts, that is your precipitation, here we have said key there is no precipitation, right? So precipitation value is 0. So amount of water that you have let in, you already know that is 100 liters here. O is 10 liters for our case, just for the sake of explanation. ET is what you need to find out, and delta S is 40%. Okay, so 40% of again 100 liter, just for the sake of simplicity, if I say 140 liters, if it is there. Okay, so then the only unknown will be what? Your evapotranspiration. So with the help of this simple formula you can actually determine what is the evapotranspiration value. Okay, so this is how your lysimeter is going to work. So usually what they do, they don't do this in the laboratory, they do it in the field itself, because the condition, the environmental condition, that is your sunlight, wind, humidity, temperature, so all these things should be as similar as possible to the field case. So that's why, so this particular container will be dug up and it will be placed on the field itself, so that to make sure that we get a realistic values. Okay, so with the help of this we can determine the evapotranspiration. So this is the process of lysimeter method. Now, the third major hydrological losses that we have is nothing but the infiltration. Okay, so this is one of the important major loss, if I need to say, with respect to evaporation, evapotranspiration. Let us go through few of the introduction bits and a few of the terminologies, and then we'll discuss about the measurement of these infiltration. Okay. Infiltration is a process by which water enters the soil from the ground surface. Infiltration first replenishes the soil moisture deficiency. The excess water then moves downwards by the force of gravity. This downward movement under the gravity is called percolation or seepage. Percolation is thus the movement of water within the soil. Okay, so I'll read this once again and then I'll try to explain this. Infiltration is a process by which the water enters the soil from the ground surface. It is a process by which the water enters the soil from the ground surface. Infiltration first replenish the soil moisture deficiency. That is, if I again draw a particular block of soil, okay, so here if I need to say so the rainfall is occurring. Okay, so once the rainfall is occurring, infiltration indicates what? The process by which the water enters the soil from the ground surface. That is, enters the soil from the ground surface. Just imagine this. Sorry. Yeah, so the water is entering into this soil through the ground surface, that is from the rainfall. Okay, now infiltration first replenishes the soil moisture deficiency. What does that mean? So right now we don't know what will be the moisture content of the soil. Okay, so that's why what it does is, first it increases the moisture content of the soil and make it saturated. Okay, that is the first part. That is what it means by this. Infiltration first replenishes the soil moisture deficiency. So moisture deficiency in the sense what? With respect to its saturation capacity. Okay, so what amount of water will be water that can withheld, basically that the first thing it will do, that is the soil will get entirely saturated. That is what it meant by this. The excess water then moves downwards by the force of gravity. That is, once this entire soil mass is saturated with water, already it has reached its limit. At that point of time, the water is going to again what? The excess water is going to infiltrate inside, or else it is going to infiltrate downwards. So that is what meant by this. Okay, next, this downward movement under the gravity is called percolation or seepage. So this part is called as percolation or seepage. Percolation is thus the movement of water within the soil. So within the soil, if the water movement is going on, then you are going to call that as percolation. Okay, so this entire process itself, you are going to call that as what? Infiltration process. Fine. So with this now, next the terminology that comes is infiltration rate. That is what we nominate with small f. Okay, it is the rate at which the water enters the soil at the surface. Okay, infiltration rate is the rate at which the water enters the soil at the surface. So what do you mean by that? Infiltration rate indicates what? If I try to show it with a figure, imagine the intensity of rainfall that is occurring is 10 millimeter, yeah, per hour. Okay, and here this particular soil which is there, imagine this has a capacity to take up that particular rainfall at the rate of, let us say, 3 millimeter per hour. Okay, 3 millimeter per hour. Yeah, 3 millimeter per hour. So at that point of time, what will happen? So this 3 millimeter per hour what we have, it is nothing but the capacity of this soil that is allowing the water to pass through itself, or else it is the capacity of the soil with which it is absorbing. So this particular rate at which the soil is allowing the water to pass through it is nothing but what? Your infiltration rate. I hope it is clear for you. Next, we have something called as cumulative infiltration. So this we indicate with a capital F. Okay, it is the accumulated depth of water infiltrated during a given time period. Okay, so it is the accumulated depth of water infiltrated during a given period of time. So what do you mean by this is this infiltration rate is nothing but, here you can check out, I am expressing in terms of intensity, that is depth per time. Okay, depth per time. So whereas cumulative infiltration will be like, imagine that this particular rainfall is occurring for, let us say, 1 hour. Okay, so at that point of time, this or else let us say this is happening for 2 hours. Let us not take 1 hour, let us take 2 hours. So at that point of time, the total amount of rainfall that has occurred is how much? 20 mm, because 10 mm per hour rainfall has occurred for 2 hours. So the total rainfall which is occurred is 20 mm. Okay, similarly the soil with this soil which can actually allow the water to pass through it, the infiltration rate I have told it as 3 millimeters per hour, right? So this is per hour is 3 millimeters. So if you multiply it with the duration of the rainfall, so total how much I am going to get? So this infiltration is going to be how much? 6 millimeters. Yeah, 6 millimeters. So this is not per hour. Okay, so this is the total volume what we are talking about. So yeah, that this total 6 mm over here right now what I have expressed will become the cumulative infiltration for the given set of condition just now what I have explained. Okay, so this is nothing but the cumulative infiltration. Now the next thing is with respect to infiltration capacity. Now infiltration capacity, it is the it is the maximum rate at which a given soil can absorb the water under a given set of conditions at a given time. So please try to I'll read this once again, try to listen to this. Infiltration capacity we denote it by FC. Okay, it is the maximum rate at which a given soil can absorb water under a given set of conditions. which is the maximum rate at which the given soil can absorb the water under a given set of condition at a given time. So what it means in simple terms, if I need to explain here, if you check out the same scenario right now, what I have said, rainfall is 10 mm, infiltration rate is 3 mm, and total cumulative infiltration is 6 mm for a duration of 2 hours of rainfall. So here what will happen, imagine at the start of this 2 hour, that is t is equals to now 0, at 0 hour, imagine this particular soil is completely dry. Imagine this soil is completely dry, that is before the rainfall is occurring, this soil is completely dry. Imagine that. Okay, at that point of time what will happen, at t is equals to, let us say, sorry, at t is equals to, let us say, uh, 5 minutes. Okay, so at that point of time what will happen, initially for the very small duration of time, since this soil mass is completely dry, okay, it absorbs all that water at a much faster rate. Okay, so the rate of absorption of this soil in the initial stages will be much higher than 3 millimeters per hour. Okay, what I meant by that is the amount of water it can withhold during the initial stages is much more than the infiltration rate what we usually get. Okay, so here imagine this particular at time t is equals to 5 minutes, the infiltration capacity or else the absorbance at which it is taking place is, let us say, 8 mm per hour. Okay, similarly imagine at t is equals to, let us say, 30 minutes. Okay, so this has reduced to, let us say, some 5 millimeters per hour. Yeah, similarly at let us say 1 hour, yeah, so it has reduced to, let us say, 3 millimeters per hour. And even at 2 hours duration, this has reduced to, let us say, 2 millimeter per hour. Okay, so what I meant by that is what I am trying to explain with this particular values over here. In the next slides we are going to understand a bit more detail about this infiltration capacity, but in simple terms if I need to explain about this, what will happen is during the initial time whenever the rainfall occurs, the infiltration capacity will be more, the infiltration capacity or else infiltration rate will be more. As and when the time passes, this particular infiltration rate is going to get reduced. Okay, now in this particular scenario, the infiltration capacity is the maximum rate at which the given soil can absorb water under a given set of conditions. That is, out of this, whatever the maximum value you are going to get, that itself is going to become infiltration capacity. Okay, so at a given time is, I have explained with respect to time, and at a given set of condition is, I have told you how the soil is, how much amount of rainfall is occurring, what is the total amount of rainfall, what is the infiltration rate, and what is the cumulative infiltration that has occurred. So these are nothing but the given set of conditions, and this is with respect to for a given time. So like this, basically we are going to calculate the infiltration capacity, and to calculate these infiltration capacities we are going to use something called as infiltrometers. Okay, so these infiltrometers will help us in determining this infiltration rate, infiltration capacities. Even we are going to solve the problems on all these aspects. Okay, so these are the few of the what I can say terminologies that we are going to study with respect to infiltration process. Now, the actual rate of infiltration, that is F, can be expressed as, okay, so here this concept is very important. So let me try to draw this. I'll try to explain with respect to a figure itself. Okay, so imagine this as the soil, okay, or else the ground level. Fine. Next thing is the rainfall is occurring. Fine, the rainfall is occurring. Now the intensity of rainfall, that is I over here, it is, let us again say it as 10 millimeters per hour. Okay, so after that, the basic concept what I have explained is, here we are going to get our, if I take some different color over here, it will be like, okay, so this infiltration what is going to occur, so this depends on your soil. Okay, so that is nothing but what, your F. right now. I am going to write it as F. So imagine this particular soil which is there is having an infiltration rate of, let us say, 4 millimeters per hour. We have infiltration rate of 4 millimeters per hour. So at this point of time, if you check out, here this I is indicating nothing but what? Intensity of rainfall, and F is nothing but the this intensity, infiltration rate. Okay, so keeping these two in mind, what will happen next? If the infiltration rate is now check out, the intensity of rainfall is 10 millimeters per hour. The amount of water that is infiltrating is only 4 millimeter per hour. So there is remaining 6 millimeter per hour which is there. So that is going to go out as what? Your runoff. Remaining 6 millimeters per hour which is going to be there. So that is going to go out as runoff. I hope it is clear for you. Okay. So here if I try to explain the first equation over here, see this, infiltration rate, that is F, infiltration rate is equals to infiltration capacity for I which is greater than equal to Fc. What do you mean by this? Infiltration rate will become is equals to infiltration capacity when intensity of rainfall is more than or equals to the infiltration capacity. So if you check out here, for the first case there will not be any rainfall, that is runoff, that is going to occur. So if I check out this for first equation which is there, okay, so I is nothing but the intensity of rainfall. Here it is 10 mm per hour, right? So Fc or F is how much? Only 4 millimeter per hour. So your I is greater than F right now which is there. Okay, so at that point of time what will happen? Your runoff is bound to be there. Try to understand this, your runoff is bound to be there. Similarly, if F is equals to I, so that is, if another case if I make with a different color, okay, here I'll write it on. So now I is, let us say, 5 millimeter per hour. I is 5 millimeter per hour, and similarly even F is 5 millimeter per hour. F is 5 millimeters per hour. So this is for the second equation. Now please check this out. F, that is infiltration rate of the soil, if it is equals to the intensity of rainfall, at that time what will happen? 5 mm per hour of rainfall is occurring and the same water is being infiltrated. So there will not be any runoff that is going to get generated. So runoff over here will be 0. It will be nil. There will not be any runoff that is going to generate. So F is equals to, when it is equals to I, okay, your runoff will not be generated. So that's why for I is less than Fc, that is intensity of rainfall is less than the infiltration capacity. So in the previous slide, as I have explained, infiltration rate is at a random point of time. What the infiltration is going to occur, that is what we call it as infiltration rate. Whereas the point at which the maximum amount of infiltration is going to occur, we are going to call that as infiltration capacity. Okay, so keeping that in mind, now if I just try to reverse this particular explanation, okay, till now I have explained with respect to this for this. Okay, now if I just try to reverse this, okay, check it out. For I is greater than or equals to Fc. Here for the sake of explanation, what I'll do is I'll make this as Fc. Okay, at that point of time, please check out for I, that is intensity of rainfall is 10 mm. Okay, for intensity of rainfall is equals to 10 mm, which is greater than or equal to the infiltration capacity. At that time what will happen? Infiltration rate is equals to infiltration capacity, that is F is equals to Fc, because the water cannot enter into this soil at a greater rate than Fc, because Fc itself is the maximum rate at which the water can enter, right? So that's why for intensity of rainfall, which is if it is more than the infiltration capacity, at that point of time your infiltration rate, your F will be is equals to Fc. I hope it is clear. Similarly, if the intensity of rainfall is less than your Fc, so here if I write with a different number, this Fc, if I make it as 4, or else sorry, if I make this as 6, if I make this as 6, at that point of time what will happen? Your intensity of rainfall is 5 mm, whereas infiltration capacity is 6 mm. So that time your infiltration rate will be is equals to the intensity of rainfall itself. So that is 5 mm per hour itself is only going to get infiltrated, even though the capacity is how much? 6 mm. But that much amount of water itself is not coming through the precipitation. So that's why this particular variation is going to be there. Okay. So again I'll repeat, for intensity of rainfall greater than or equals to infiltration capacity, at that time your infiltration rate will become is equals to infiltration capacity, first point. For intensity of rainfall less than the infiltration capacity, at that point of time your infiltration rate will be is equals to the intensity of rainfall. Okay, so this is basically the how you are going to express, or it is the interrelationship between the intensity of rainfall, infiltration rate, and the infiltration capacity what we have. Okay, now infiltration capacity of a soil is high at the beginning of the storm and has an exponential decay as the time elapses. So in the previous slide, what I have explained you with the few of the numericals, it is the same concept. Okay, so the curve, what this particular exponential decay, what it is telling about, it is nothing but what we call it as infiltration curve. Okay, we call that as infiltration curve. So even we are going to study about that infiltration curve in the coming slides. Okay, next is hydraulic conductivity. Okay, it is a measure of ability of a soil to transmit water. So hydraulic conductivity is nothing but the measure of ability of a soil. So it is the ability of a soil to allow the water to pass through itself is what we call it as hydraulic conductivity. Okay, similarly the last part will be your field capacity. So already we have discussed this field capacity even in the previous session. So this field capacity is nothing but what? It is the maximum amount of water that the soil can retain against the force of gravity. It is the maximum amount of water that the soil can withheld against the force of gravity. Okay, so that is what is being given in the field capacity process. Okay, so these are a bit more explanation on the infiltration process.